I'm meeting today with Don Allaway. He is a conservation officer, a wildlife management person who works for the state of South Dakota. And we're going to talk about the 3 bodies of water here right outside of Yankton that we can fish at, the licenses you need, and anything else he wants to talk about.
Okay.
So we're here with Don Allaway today, and first I want to thank you for meeting with us. You know, we get a lot of questions from both buyers and sellers, a lot of people we meet asking us questions about licensing and the 3 bodies of water.
Yep.
And you know, what license can you use and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, could you explain some of that for us?
Yeah, so Yankton in general has 3 major bodies of water. So Lewis and Clark Lake, which is going to be the one right here behind us, which is the largest lake in this area. And then the Missouri River, which is downstream from Gavin's Point Dam. And then also Lake Yankton, which is pretty shallow right now. They are doing some renovations on the body of water. So it's about 8 foot down from where it usually is. So those are the 3 main bodies of water in this area.
So how do people, I imagine they fish at different, those 3 bodies. How do they go for, what kind of fish do they fish for out of those 3?
Yep. So Lake Yankton right now, with it being super shallow, I haven't seen a whole lot of fishing pressure, I'd like to say. This last winter, I know guys were catching some walleye and perch out of that body of water ice fishing, but for the most part, bass and bluegill are the 2 main species you're going to catch out of there. And then as far as the Missouri River, that's just one of those bodies of water that they can hold just about any species of fish, fresh water that is. But mostly guys are targeting your, paddlefish during the paddlefish season, walleye, sauger, species like that.
So going back to Lake Yankton, I think I read you can only use an electric motor on there?
Correct, yep. So Lake Yankton is a no-wake lake. So that's at speeds less than 10 mile an hour or electric motors only. So.
Okay. Here's a question. I have like a permit. When I lived in Nebraska, I had a permit to hunt and fish, a lifetime permit. So can I use that here, and do I need a habitat stamp to fish here?
So the habitat stamp is going to be for South Dakota residents or non-residents that are fishing South Dakota bodies of water only. So this being Lewis and Clark, Lake Yankton, Missouri River, in between South Dakota and Nebraska being a border water, Nebraska residents with a Nebraska license do not need the habitat stamp. But
they don't?
They do not, no. Not through Nebraska if you're fishing under your Nebraska license.
Okay, but if you have a South Dakota license, then you need it?
Then you need it, yep. So for residents, that's $10, and then non-residents, it's $25 for the habitat stamp.
And is it true that the limits, like for under a Nebraska license compared to a South Dakota license, can be different?
They can be different, yes.
Okay.
So for the most part, on the border waters, they are exact, if not a little bit different. But if you're fishing under a Nebraska license, you abide by Nebraska's rules, and if you are fishing under South Dakota, you abide by South Dakota's rules.
Okay. Oh, I have to ask you about the flying fish. What's the actual name of the flying fish?
So they kind of get the name as Asian carp, but those actual species are big head carp and then silver carp.
And as far as I know, there aren't any in the lake yet?
In Lewis and Clark Lake? Correct, yeah. So they're cut off right here at the dam, and there's no more, or there's not any fish in the lake here.
So what can we do as good conservationists to keep them out of this lake?
Yeah, so big thing is just AIS rules. So AIS stands for Aquatic Invasive Species. So big thing is just pulling the plug on your boat, draining all that water out, make sure you don't have any leftover residue or species or anything like that still in your boat. And then also you're getting rid of zebra mussels that way too, and it's helped preventing that spread. But the biggest thing for the Asian carp is if they're there, let them be. A lot of guys are into bow fishing right now, so they're shooting carp and disposing of them that way. But as far as transporting the fish, it is illegal to transport them from body to water to body to water. So if they're there and they're not hurting you, just leave them.
Okay, so is it becoming really a big problem on the Missouri River?
In certain parts of the river, it is becoming an issue, yes. And the biggest issue is it's just dangerous.
Yeah.
You know, going up and down the water and having fish jumping all over the place. You know, 15-pound fish come flying at your head and you're going 20 mile an hour down the river. You know, that can get pretty scary pretty fast.
So what can you tell me about the zebra mussels? So they're here in Lewis and Clark Lake, right?
They are, yes.
And what can we do to, you know, limit the number or, you know, get rid of them? Like, what can a boater do, or what should they do after boating?
Yep. So they're already in the lake in pretty big numbers. So the biggest thing now is just stopping the spread from Lewis and Clark Lake to other bodies of water, whether it's on the Nebraska side or South Dakota side. So biggest thing, when you exit the water, is make sure you're pulling your plug. Tilt down the tiller on your motors, drain out the water that way, and I'm just keeping them overall clean. So any bit of water that you're transporting can hold zebra mussels, so we just want to make sure our boats are dry, clean, and safe for loading.
So do they attach to the underneath the boat?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
They do. So how do you, is there a place to spray it down, or what do people do?
So we don't have an actual space in the park to spray them down. We are holding AIS checkpoints this year, which basically it's our fisheries crew where they're checking boats as they come in and out of areas. They're not going to be everywhere at once, so there's a chance that you might not come across them, but those guys are going to be spraying down boats with hot water and making sure they are invasive free.
Okay. I have to ask you about spoonbill season. Spoonbill is the best tasting fish I've ever had in my life. When we were fishing in Missouri when I was younger, and I could not believe how good spoonbill was.
Yep. So that's something new for me from not being totally from around the area. But so we have a fall snagging season on our paddlefish. I don't know the exact dates off the top of my head.
I think it's October 1st to all of October, I think.
All of October, okay. We'll see. You know more than I do, so.
I doubt that.
No.
No, I don't.
Yeah, so that's that's a trophy fish in my opinion. So we see anglers from all over the place putting in and applying for tags, and just to get an opportunity at a fish. We do have a slot limit on the paddlefish. So basically anything inside the slot you cannot keep, anything smaller or bigger you can keep in the slot.
So you have to measure it.
You have to measure it, yes.
Okay.
When you get your tag too, it comes with all that paperwork of how to measure the fish. It's not from tip of spoon to tip of tail like you might think. It's a little bit different measurement where it's right behind the eye to the tip of the tail of the fish.
Okay, all right. And if you're a South Dakota resident, you have to send in for a South Dakota spoonbill?
Correct, yep.
And then if you're in Nebraska, you put in for a Nebraska permit, right?
Nebraska
so
permit.
Nebraska and South Dakota split the number of permits? Is that how they do it?
Yep, so South Dakota has their own set-aside permits, and then Nebraska has their own set-aside permits.
Okay.
And then non-residents can choose if they want to be on the Nebraska side or South Dakota side, if they want to apply for non-resident paddlefish permits.
But the odds of them getting a license like that is much lower, right?
Much
lower. Say
lower.
if you're from, I don't know, Colorado.
Yep.
Then the percentage is a lot lower.
Yeah, statistically with our draw systems, non-residents are going to probably have just a lesser of a chance of drawing tags than residents will.
Okay. Okay, so tell me a little bit more about the spoonbill, how you sign up or get a license for that, because I didn't really see in the book really how to do it.
Yep. So there's two ways to do it. I would say the easiest way is to go online to our South Dakota Game Fish and Parks website and sign on that way. And the second way is to get a hard copy and then just mail it into our pier office. So you can apply for one permit for spoonbill per year. And I would also recommend purchasing a preference point. So basically that preference point increases your odds of drawing a tag that following year. So say you do not get a tag one year, but you purchase a preference point, that next year you're going to have increased odds of drawing that license. So basically the preference point is an option you can buy for $5 additionally if you do not get drawn for that license.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So you only do that the second year?
Nope, you can do.
Oh, you can do it the first year?
So basically, if you're going on and applying, you don't have any points, you don't have the option to purchase a point unless you're unsuccessful.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So basically, if you did not apply that year, you can go back in and you can purchase a preference point after the cause.
So how far down the river can I go from the dam and snag?
So there's only one spot to snag, and it's below Gavin's Point Dam. So basically, if you're below Gavin's Point, you can go anywhere from here down to the end of the South Dakota waters.
Okay.
Yep. Basically, it's just below Gavin's Point Dam. Guys, most of the time are going to fish right below the dam because that's going to be the best spot to be.
Because they're trying to go upstream.
Correct.
Right.
Yep. They like to hang out in that fast water right there below the dam, and that's where guys usually target them because they know that's the area they like to be in.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. So for personal watercraft, PWCs, jet skis, things like that, you have to be 14 years or older to operate a jet ski on any South Dakota state body of water.
And do you have to have a life jacket on?
You do have to have a life jacket on, as well as a lanyard on your wrist that's connected to the PWC's engine shutoff switch.
Okay.
So, and then another required piece of equipment on a jet ski is also a fire extinguisher. So you need those 3 things.
Oh, really?
Yep. Fire extinguisher, lanyard connected to your wrist, and then your life jacket for a jet ski. So.
Okay.
And then just for, I kind of messed up on this earlier, so I'll just recover it.
You're doing great.
Okay, so for operating a boat, if that motor is more than 6 horsepower, operators 12 and older must have someone with them that is 18 years or older. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
So basically from 12 to 17, you must have someone present that is 18 years or older to operate that boat.
Okay. I see people that are already using like bows, archery equipment.
Yep.
Like when I go over the bridge in Yankton. So so you have to have a permit for that besides your fishing permit?
No. So
you don't?
No. For South Dakota anglers, bow fishing is covered under your regular fishing license. So basically right now it's all non-game fish that you can shoot with your bow in South Dakota.
So that would be, is that what they call rough fish?
Rough fish, correct.
Okay,
yep.
So is that like
so that's
carp?
gonna be your carp. That's gonna be your bigmouth buffalo, smallmouth buffalo, all those species of fish.
Right. Well, thanks for meeting with us, and have a good year.
Yeah.
And everybody have a safe summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yep. Hey, thanks for watching. A lot of information in there, a lot of good information. You can subscribe to our channel, O'Neill Connection, all one word, and we'll keep you up to date in what's going on in Yankton, South Dakota, and Lewis and Clark Lake. Join us next time when Kaye and I will sit down and talk about Rib Fest and other upcoming events in Yankton this summer. See you soon.